Hey guys, so today it's going to be a one take kind of day. Yesterday, if you guys follow my, move the camera over here. If you guys follow my Facebook, you would have seen the post I made to kind of help people that are dealing with infertility during this time. Last year I made a video where I basically cried the whole time about how hard back to school time is when you have infertility. And this year I wanted to try to do something that would make people laugh and also help them in a way to where on my personal Facebook it got a lot of shares. And I feel like the statements I made helped people express things to like friends and family that they couldn't really feel like they could express before, if that makes sense. And I kind of came to this realization when, I'm always telling people you have, like, I talk about my infertility. I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable because it's totally acceptable to talk about your pregnancy, all this stuff, but it's just so taboo to talk about infertility when it's, something that people are going through and they need support. So I'm always telling people you have to tell people if things make you uncomfortable. You have to tell people like how you feel. And I realized the other day I'm telling people that, but then I'm not doing it. Several family members use the in God's perfect timing, God's time kind of stuff. And I know some of my subscribers have used it. And it's not that I'm like pissed off someone would say that to me or anything. There's just some points about it which I will make that people might not be thinking about. If you think about when somebody's grieving, there's things that you don't say to them. Like if somebody's family member just died and you might be like, this is not the same thing. But my point is, to us, it's just not something that's helpful. If you said, well, it was God's perfect timing, it wouldn't really help the situation. So I'm going to read this and I'm probably going to like stop and say, explain stuff further because I wasn't going to type all that out on Facebook. But yeah, I'm just going to, let me move my makeshift tripod. Now my camera's wonky. I'm using one of Justin's file things as a tripod. So the picture, obviously, I'll insert it here. And then what I said was, just a little something to make fellow infertile couples smile. Most people don't realize how hard back to school time can be for us. While we love all the children that flood our timeline, it's a difficult reminder of, the way it's like so skinny. I keep losing my place. It's a difficult reminder of what we are going through and what we might never experience. Many of us wonder if we will ever get the chance to take a million pictures of our own little mini me's one day. And the harsh truth is some of us might not get to. It's terrifying and heartbreaking. We get tired of hearing God's plan and timing when we see babies dumped in trash cans, mothers giving birth to crack addicted babies, child molesters and abusers having babies. It's like hearing, oh, God thinks you're not ready or you don't deserve this, but apparently this crackhead does. And this is another thing people don't understand. A lot of us, like, I am a Christian, I'm Catholic. A lot of us have had struggles with our faith, and we have accepted that, for whatever reason, this is a cross we're going to have to bear. It doesn't help to it almost like throws that back in our face to be like, oh, but God's perfect timing. It doesn't help anything. I know people say it with the best of intention, but it just doesn't. It doesn't. It just reminds us that God's perfect timing, but apparently the lady that killed her kids and stuffed them in a freezer, it was perfect timing for her to have kids. You know what I'm saying? So phrases like that is well-meaning as you're, trying to be, actually are something we're so tired of hearing. it doesn't help in our faith to a point where it almost makes me question my faith at times, which I already struggle really hard to understand it, you know. And then there's also the thing, I've heard people say that to perfect strangers and you don't really know what their faith is. I have some friends that, you know, are agnostic, I guess, or that are atheist, and that certainly does nothing for them. So while it's well-meaning, even to Christian people, it can kind of get annoying. Let's see, where were we? Oh, we get tired of hearing just relax. Some of us have medical conditions causing infertility, and no amount of relaxation can fix it. You just don't relax things like diabetes, cancers, and other diseases away. So how the hell can we relax our medical conditions away? No one starts out stressed out when trying to have a baby. The stress comes once you've been diagnosed infertile, and then by that time, it's been a year of the stress-free method. We get tired of hearing, have you tried? You know what I mean? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you tried that? Yes, you would be shocked to learn all the things we have tried. And no, getting drunk is not magically going to get us pregnant either. We get tired of hearing, can't you just get some kind of treatment? Or like IVF? Yeah, let me magically pull $25,000 out of thin air for IVF. Most insurance companies do not cover anything fertility related, and we spend thousands of dollars on tests just to get diagnosed, then thousands of dollars on treatments with no guarantee that it'll actually work. So if it doesn't work, your money's just gone. We get tired of hearing, can't you just adopt? Adopting is not for everyone. If a person knows in their heart it's not for them, and they can't be the parent an adopted child needs or deserves, then what? Also, let's talk about how expensive adoption is. So if you research on the internet, you'll hear anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 for private adoption. But somebody who has looked into private adoption, that's a joke. Really, honestly, everything I've seen starts around $35,000. And there will be places that advertise adoption as low as $10,000. But when you contact them, they're like, well, that's this fee, and then you get this fee, and then you still end up at like $35,000, if not more. International adoption, I believe, is even more. And it will take years waiting for that. So that being said, then we get the people who say, oh, you can get them from the state. You can foster and adopt for free. Yeah, okay. We've been trying to foster and adopt for over a year and a half. Only to be told by our county that there are enough fosters. Sorry, but you can call the state's private agency and they can pull from other counties, but you're going to have to pay for that. So there's tons of kids that need homes, but it's still going to cost you money, and they're just fosters so they can be taken away from you at any time. Kind of paraphrasing at this point. So it's pay to foster or continue treatment. You know, we went into the foster adopt program through the state like, this is great. So many kids need homes. We're going to help so many kids. And it's really a, pardon my French, but a fucked up system. It really is. So basically in the county we live in, there's enough fosters. And our age bracket is huge. It's from like birth to like 12 years old. I don't remember if we did 12 or I don't know, but that's the age bracket we went with. And there was no race, no gender preference, no race preference. We don't care about any of that stuff. The only reason I went like at a stopping point and didn't go into teenagers is just because while we have our dogs, I've worked with a lot of foster kids and kids in the system. And I hate to say this, but there's a lot of instances of they're going through a lot, and it's very hard for them. And so they act out and they do things like they hurt animals. Not like hurt animals like they're still serial killers, but I've made a commitment to my dogs for when I adopted them for their life to take care of and protect them. And my experience working with some like foster teenagers and kids have been in the system for a long time hasn't been the best. Now, when we're older, if when Amber, I can't even say when Amber and Ralph passed, but you know what I mean. Would we consider that if we didn't have a commitment to any pets at the time? Yeah, I would. But basically that's the reason why. And so there's no kids for adoption or fostering available to us in our county. Now they said, oh, other counties, so 10 minutes away from your county or whatever, there's kids that need homes, but we're going to have to charge you for that, which makes no sense to me. It's all under the state of Texas, and it's just bullshit and a way to make money. And it's like I'm spending money that I could spend on fertility treatments to foster a child that could be taken away from me. So when we move from this house, we will be in a different county, and we're praying to God that there will be children available that can live with us. So that's that. Many of us want to experience what it's like to be pregnant. It's not just about having the baby. I want to know what it's like to feel like my child inside me and kick me and, things like that. I want that. Like, a lot of people want that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that. So that's another point about that. We would kill for the things pregnant women complain about. That's another thing. If you're pregnant, please don't complain about your pregnancy to an infertile friend. I'm sure there are plenty of other women out there who can be sympathetic to what you're experiencing. So this kind of, I'm sure pregnancy is not easy. I'm sure. But what you have to understand is we're not saying you shouldn't complain about your pregnancy. We're just asking that you not do that to us. I'm sure there's plenty of other women that you can talk to about pregnancy grievances. So I'm not even talking about when people bitch about their pregnancy on Facebook. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're a pregnant person directly complaining to somebody that is infertile. So basically those are just a few things you can do to kind of, just be aware if you know somebody dealing with this. Another thing I didn't bring up is if you know a couple that it's kind of like they've been together so long. For me and Justin, we've been together since high school. So of course there was this big phase where we didn't try, but if you know a couple and you're like, oh, they're getting older, they've, blah, 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 they might be dealing with infertility, and hounding them about when you're going to have a baby, or you're getting too old, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't help, because coming out and speaking about infertility is not for everyone. There is a, God, she's changed her channel name so many times. But My Housewife Life used to be one of her channels. Busy Bee or something. Pretty Neat Living, I think is what it is now. I've always really loved watching her and her husband. And I've seen comments before. I remember there was one, and I usually don't get involved in comments and like nastiness, but there was one day that said something like, geez, if you treat your dog like this, you should never have kids because they'll be spoiled. I went off because I had a feeling for the longest, and I would never say something or ask this question, but I had a feeling for the longest time they were dealing with infertility, and they actually were. She is pregnant now. She did get pregnant naturally, but she did talk about the struggle to get pregnant. And I knew, I usually can tell by this time, I had a feeling that they were dealing with that. So just hearing somebody say some things and thinking that she could be dealing with that, I went off on this woman. I was like, how fucking dare you just, ugh. It was a long while ago, but anyway, yeah. So if you know somebody and you're kind of like, why haven't they had kids yet? Just don't hound them. Because you don't know what they're going through. And when you are in that point in life when you're dealing with infertility, but you're not sharing, like we did that at first, it's hard because you just want to cry every time somebody brings that up, or, when you're going to have kids, why haven't you had kids yet? Oh, you're getting old. It's really hard because it's such a thing that people think is so taboo and ooh, but I don't know. It's difficult to talk about, but once you finally do, it's so liberating. And so lastly, what I said was, so if you know someone battling infertility, maybe find a way to make them smile. Tell them they're going to be okay, and be there for them when they need someone to listen. Justin, Amber, and I just wanted to do something special to make people laugh and put a smile on their face. To everyone having a rough time right now, it's going to be okay. You are always in our thoughts and prayers. So, yeah, that's what we did. I'm like, oh, so emotional. I just started my period too. It's been a wonderful week. But, so, yeah, it's just, I really hope that helps some of you guys, made you laugh. And I know that a lot of people we know personally, that it helped them and they told us. So, yeah, we just wanted to break up all the pictures flooding people's timelines of kids back to school with something funny and lighthearted that would, help people through this time. So I'm in the vlog because this was a pretty chatty vlog, and I know it was a one take. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.